Ladies and gentlemen, it has officially happened. Nintendo has announced the SNES Classic Edition. I gotta say, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, I do have some misgivings here and there, but the benefits from what's been announced definitely outweigh them. So let's go over the basics really quick. It's gonna be coming out on September 29th, and it'll be at $80 rather than $60, 20 bucks more than the NES Classic. But the reason for that is that this one will be shipping with 2 controllers, which just makes so much sense. You know, I think the really big selling point of the NES Classic Edition, and now the SNES, is that it's a one-stop place to play a lot of your favorite retro games. So a weird thing with the NES was that shipping with one controller meant you were kind of stuck sometimes. You know, a lot of those games are best done in co-op or versus, and being sold separately, oftentimes they would sell out. So you buy the system, can't find another controller, now you're stuck with only the one-player game. So shipping with 2 makes a lot of sense. What is still kind of weird though is the cable length. Now there's been rumors circulating that Nintendo is not going to be shipping it with a 3-foot long cable like the NES, which was pretty much unusable, and they are now upgrading to 5 feet, which is better? Now, of course, the biggest thing though is what games are going to be on this system, and that's where things are a little bit more mixed. Primarily because it's only going to have a library of 21 games, 9 games less than the NES Classic, which feels like a weird choice to me too, because I feel like the SNES has the densest selection of strong Nintendo titles, and yet you're going to give it the smaller library for this release. On the other hand though, all the games on it are really strong choices. I mean, looking at this list, there's not a single one that makes me go, oh, why do they pick that? Why is that there? There's obviously some games that I want added in, but everything here are strong choices. Now, when it comes to games missing, the biggest, most glaring omission to me is Chrono Trigger, one of the best RPGs ever made, one of the best SNES games, period, and it's not going to be on this system, which is especially awkward because there's already a number of other Square Enix titles on here, like Super Mario RPG, Final Fantasy III, which is actually Final Fantasy VI. It's really confusing with localization. The point is, Chrono Trigger is one of the best games to come out on the system, and it is not there. I would also have loved to have seen Donkey Kong Country 2 on here instead of Donkey Kong Country 1, but I get why they made the choice. There's also the fact that there is not a single side-scrolling beat-em-up in sight for the Classic, which was a great genre on the SNES. I mean, we had 3 different Final Fight games, a Battletoads game, TMNT Turtles in Time, one of the best beat-em-ups ever made, and it's not making its way to the Classic. Now, what's really interesting about this library isn't what few games are missing that I wished were there, but one game that actually somehow made its way onto it, Star Fox 2, a game that actually never released anywhere. Now, the reason for this is that Star Fox 2 was canceled when it was already finished and developed, but Nintendo decided to hold back because the N64 was coming soon, the PS1 was already out, and basically any 3D games that came out on the SNES would not look good in comparison to what the PS1 could do with its hardware. So they decided to back off, we didn't get Star Fox 2, and instead got Star Fox 64, which was an amazing game. There have been some leaked versions of Star Fox 2 that have been playable in ROM form, but this is going to be the first time we actually get the chance to play the final complete version of the game, which is a really great form of fan service that Nintendo's doing for people. Now, of course, the big fear with this system that everyone is having is the fact that the NES was horrible when it came to how much supply was around everywhere. I mean, those things sold out like that.
Hey, everybody! These 2 are looking for
NES Classic Edition.
Shut up, man!
I mean, those things sold out like that, and there was never seeming to be enough for all the demand. So people are wondering, is this going to happen again with the SNES? Well, Nintendo has actually given an official statement about this in response to Kotaku in that they are going to be making more SNESs than they did the NES, but just like with the SNES, it is going to be a limited release. They are going to be producing and selling them officially from September 29th till the end of the year, with no plans for what's happening after that. So there's still definitely going to be a scramble for this system, but hopefully it's not quite as bad as it was with the NES Classic. As of right now, there is no official news for a Super Famicom Classic Edition coming out in Japan, but Amazon UK has already put up pre-orders for their version of the Classic Edition, which historically actually uses the same shell as the Fami, which is really cool. So I'm going to put a link for that down below in the description as soon as the US version goes up, even though it'll probably disappear immediately. I'll add that to the description as well, and I'll see you guys later.